This is the moment that designers cherish. It's when we can bring our clients home and we can show them how all of the design elements that we've been working on have come together to create their dream home. This is the reveal. Hi, I'm Leia T of LTW Design. What I love about this project is that it's a property that's by the water, and the exterior has that beautiful traditional coastal vibe that you tend to see here in homes by the Hamptons and in Montauk and the rest of New England. So come inside, I'll show you how we transform the interior of this space from a traditional home to look more modern and more coastal. What I love about this project is this was a renovation, so we didn't start from scratch. Instead, we came into a home that was more traditional colonial, and we brought it to a more modern state by making it a little bit lighter and brighter. And an example of that here is in the entry. There was a traditional, chunkier staircase railing, and what we did was we removed that and we replaced it with these cleaner lined metal balusters and white oak railing, and we squared off the treads and we made them white oak. And it gives it just a little bit more of an open, cleaner feeling, and I just love how it matches with the white and all the natural light that bounces around this entry. And another thing to point out is that our clients wanted coastal, so everything was kind of blue and gray, and we convinced them that we really needed to bring black into this color palette. So a lot of people think that coastal homes can't have black, but if you take a look through all the rooms, we kind of brought black in as much as we can, and I'll show you. Come take a look. So as you walk into this open floor plan, I love how the ceiling height changes, and in this great room, we were able to keep the walls white. We changed all the moldings so that they're a little bit more straight, and this is the room where our clients really just hang out with their kids and they veg out, watch TV. So we wanted a really large sectional. I think this is the biggest sectional we've ever done. It's custom, I think from one end to the others, almost 15 feet long. So you can easily seat 10 or 12 people here on at the same time to watch a movie. And I love how the fabric is textured, and since our clients do have young kids, we thought it was really important to use a two-toned fabric. Whenever you have two-toned color variation, it really is more forgiving when it comes to stains and little hands and feet. We made this custom coffee table for our clients in this black oak, and I love how large it is for scale. It's 60 by 60. But what I love more are these chunky corners and how the wood grain shows through the color of the wood. We also brought black in, if you can notice, in the back of this chair. This chair is like a cloud. I love this chair so much. It is as soft as it looks, and it is super comfortable. And if you look, there's black metal here, which speaks to the black metal balusters in the entry on the staircase railing. And I love the back of the chair, how it has these black straps that kind of hold this cloud-like white cushion in place. And it just creates an interesting way to incorporate black. This fireplace was a really big transformation. Before we got our hands on it, it had a big wood mantle, and the inside brick was a lighter brick tone. It just looks completely different, and so we decided to square this off, remove the mantle, keep it clean with a white paint, and then we did this nice stone surround and painted the interior of the fireplace black. on this gigantic coffee table, we have these huge wood links, and these are in a really bleached light white oak. I love the scale of it on this coffee table because it is a really large coffee table. And I love how it just kind of layers and kind of falls on very casually. We wanted this whole project to feel very casual, not formal, not stiff at all. We wanted a place for our clients to just come in bare feet from the beach and hang out and relax and feel very comfortable. Something I do want to point out is this beautiful rug. It is so soft. It's a chunky wool, and when you're barefoot and walk on it, it feels like you're walking on the sand. This side table is one of my favorites. I love how bold it is and how structured it is. I like the soft curves and how the soft curves are incorporated with this very clean square top. So it's a nice way to mix curves and straight lines. But I also love how the texture shows off the wood grain underneath, and it has a little bit of that like gray wash on it. And we layered that with these little white oak beads. So all these little details come together and create a really fun coastal family room. We wanted to bring in more of that beach feeling, so we added oak beams wherever we can. You'll see over here we framed the great room with this big white oak beam on top, and then we wrapped the columns coming down, and that just kind of softened the space so we didn't have a big white box. And we brought those beams here, and in order to keep them minimal, we kept them about 4 inches in height and about 12 inches wide. So they're modern and clean, and they're not farmhouse. We didn't want really any trace of farmhouse here. This kitchen is my favorite. One of the features I love is how we mixed curves and straight lines. So if you notice on the pulls, the inside of the pull is curved and it's really soft, but the outside is very structured and has straight squared off corners. So it's a nice combination. It feels very delicate, but also strong and structured, which I like. And you can see we used a warm brass color, which is one of my personal favorites because it looks so pretty against the white oak, but it also looks just as beautiful against the warm white cabinets. Another little detail that you don't really notice right away, but if you look closely, we did flat panel draws for all of the top rows of the draws. So the top row here, this is a flat panel. And on the white perimeter cabinets, you'll see also the top row of drawers is a flat panel. Whereas as you get down lower, the lower rows, we have a little inlay detail. It's inset here on the front panel of all the drawers. So it's just a little design element that I think adds interest, but it's not loud and in your face. This faucet was a conversation. We went back and forth over a couple of faucets, and this was the one we landed on. It's a combination of black and brass, so you don't see that combination in one piece as frequently. It brings in that element of black that we have woven throughout the house, and then it also speaks to the brass pulls that we have on all the base cabinets here. So that was perfect. We didn't really want a big silver hood above, and instead we framed out this gorgeous hood and we wrapped it in plaster. They did this matte plaster treatment, and I love how, again, there's a little bit of a curve and very straight lines. Another favorite are these pendants. So we wanted something that was, again, curved and soft, but bold enough to hold its place in this room. So we found these beautiful cement pendants, and I like that they have texture. I like that the color and tone of the texture of this pendant speaks to the color and tone of the veining that's in the countertops. Anytime we can bring greenery in, we like to put greenery on the countertops. I think that that is a really great way to decorate and style any room, not just the kitchen. But The kitchen is fun because you can do like oversized artichokes, and you can bring in some things that you'll actually use that can serve as decor until you use them. Just off the kitchen, we made this mudroom. So this was a closed wall, and what we did was we were able to put the opening here and then create this little area where the kids can just drop everything. So behind all these cabinets, which go up to the ceiling, is where all the backpacks, all the gloves, the hats, the boots, the scarves, the books, everything lives. And I really wanted to do white oak because I wanted it to speak to the white oak that we have in the base of the island in the kitchen, because it's right off of the kitchen. So we kept the lines really clean. We did flat panel, and then again, we used the same pulls here as we did in the kitchen. It just creates that like consistency and cohesiveness. I love these stools, the counter stools at the island. They're minimal, they're low profile, which is always my favorite because then you don't really see it. It doesn't block any, sight lines. So everything feels really open still. But it does have a seat back, so it's super functional. It's combined with white oak and this beautiful camel tan leather that wraps around. So it has that director chair feel, but just a more minimal modern version. And they tuck in so beautifully. Okay, so this is a pocket door that we kept the interior glass, and it's just so functional. It tucks away, and I love that it has the little black we painted to keep that consistent throughout the house. And this is the pantry. So this is where you can tuck everything away. Your mixers, your blenders, things you don't use all the time can get tucked away here. So we did the same combination of materials in here as we did in the kitchen. We wanted to keep it consistent, and we wanted this to not feel like a tucked away closet. We wanted it to feel elevated like the rest of the kitchen. So we did the same countertop with the beautiful thick veining. Everything in here we did flat panel. You'll see the built-ins to the ceiling. So everything you really need in a kitchen lives in here, which is perfect because we've removed all of the upper cabinets. Okay, so in this little breakfast nook off of the kitchen, we kept with that theme of incorporating black where we can, which you can see here and you can see above in this light fixture. I love that you can see through it. It's black, again, bringing black throughout, but it's not loud and it's not in your face. Over here, we used a piece of furniture. This sideboard is beautiful. What I love about it is the cabinet doors are all hand carved, and it kind of reminds me of the waves in the ocean. And again, any way you can add that coastal vibe without saying it's coastal, you can bring it in other ways. Again, this is another way. This lamp I love. It reminds me of a piece of coral. It's very inconsistent with the texture. It's very rough. It's a concrete lamp base. I just think it's beautiful, and it stays within the color palette that we have going on in this house, which is oak, white, and black. Come on over here. We have this little flex space. So this space was just an open area, and our clients have young children and they wanted a space where the kids can just kind of lay out and sprawl out and do whatever. So we kept it open, we kept the furniture very minimal. I love how the rugs are textured and layered on top of one another. It just feels very effortless and very casual. We wanted chairs that were really fun, so we added these curved chairs that swivel where the kids can kind of spin around and hang out with their friends. And then we chose not to put a coffee table. We really wanted a lot of negative space where the clients can have their kids play board games on the floor, roll around on the floor, do whatever it is they want. Okay, so come upstairs. Can't wait to show you more. I love at the top of the landing here how you can see outside, but you have this beautiful sculptural light pendant that again is black, so anywhere we could add black throughout the house, we did. This is a beautiful guest room. It's really quaint. I love how calm it is. And again, this one room really shows the color palette that we used in this house. We wanted to use a rug that was really textured. This is a nice wool rug. It's so soft to the touch, and it has that warm, cozy feel. And as far as the furniture pieces, this is a whitewashed oak, and it feels almost like driftwood that you would see naturally on a beach. Accessories are very textured. Even the books are black and white. And anywhere you can add live greenery is always a plus. Bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, it always looks beautiful. So just off the guest room is the primary bedroom, and what I love about this room is it's super casual. The bed is clearly the focal point, and we wanted the bed to be no fuss, just kind of jump right in, very casual, very calm. Starting with the frame, we did a very white, crisp linen. It's a custom bed, and the feet are beautiful, soft gray oak, which I think layer nicely with the white oak used throughout the flooring. So we have the gray oak, the white linen, and then these really soft cotton sheets and duvet cover. And we layered the bed with this super cozy cashmere throw blanket. I wish you could feel it, it's so soft. On each side of the bed, we really wanted to keep with that warm gray oak feeling that is on the foot of the bed. So we did these oversized gray oak nightstands. It has a little bit of a pattern, lots of texture. You can see the wood grain. And then on top, we kept it very simple, and we did a really oversized, bold, organic shaped lamp. And what I love about this lamp is that it has that two-tone feeling of cement, like concrete, but it's a softer blend, and it really just looks natural and really just inviting. On the bed, we did throw a little bit of color in there. So we do use color. This is our version of using color. It's very natural. It's like a kind of a warm blue with an undertone of gray, which I think is good for a coastal beach house. The shutters here are a nice way to filter light. So you'll see when we open the shutters how much light floods into the room. But it's also a nice way to let the light come in and still maintain a little bit of privacy throughout the day. Just one piece of artwork in this room, which is of course a beautiful picture of the beach with a little bit of a gray oak frame, but I like that the art is minimal, it's not oversized, it's not in your face. But something we did put in here that is oversized is this glass custom mirror. So I just felt like this was a nice opportunity to bounce the light around. It's functional because we always need a mirror when we're getting dressed and getting ready. And it has this thin 1/4 inch metal frame that we wrapped the glass in, and it just feels like a little bit of an extension of the room, the way it reflects. Over here we have the primary bath, and this bathroom is really simple. It's very clean, very minimal. I love how the tub has this very curved shape with a flat top, again mixing curves and straight lines whenever you can. And most of all, it's a matte finish. So I always love a matte finish versus a polished glossy tub. We added greenery here, and again, just a little tip for you at home. You don't always need a big vase or a big arrangement. You can just cut greenery and throw it down. So here we put these beautiful pieces on the counter, and they just layer and they just add a nice little element of life in the space and color, and just kind of let them live there until it's time to switch. Something to point out in this renovation that we did is that we removed all of the flooring and replaced it with this beautiful white oak flooring. And I think that really made the difference and set the tone for a coastal home. Before, the wood was stained a dark color, and even sanding it didn't get it to that right color that we wanted. So we just started fresh, and we have this beautiful white oak throughout the first, second, and third floor of the home. Speaking of third floors, I want to take you up to the third floor, which was an attic that was unfinished. It was just a big, huge storage area, and we drywalled it. We got creative with the ceiling heights, and we now have this really cool lounge up there. So before we get to the third floor, I just want to point out this really cute moment. I thought with this flat wall that we have here that was pretty tall, it was a great opportunity to put a piece of art. And instead of a canvas or a photograph, we wanted something that was textured and you can touch and see and feel. So this is a beautiful hand-woven piece that was made specifically for this area, and I love the scale of it and the texture and the color. Okay, you can see that we got creative since this was a storage area in an attic, and we have, you know, this third landing here, and the ceiling heights were a little bit tricky, so we had 2 steps up here, and we wrapped the floor here with white oak as well, because we really wanted this space to feel like it was part of the house and it wasn't an attic that we renovated. And I just love how it turned out. It's just an area for the kids to come up or adults to come up to get some quiet time for themselves. So we actually used outdoor furniture here, and I think it landed really well. We brought in this perennials fabric. We did black in the detail here in the light fixture. You'll see that the hardware is black. And we added these 3 big windows, and I think that was really the game changer that really opened this space up, because it was really dark in here before. This wall ended right about here, so we were able to push back about 4 feet, which gave us this extra room. And to really define the space here, I wanted these really large, oversized pendants. So these are beautiful. I love how natural they are, and I like how it's a warmer tone to soften up the black and white palette. And shiplap just seemed fitting for this space. With all the different angles, it gives your eye a place to land. So we wrapped shiplap around the whole room on the walls. And then we created this little area as kind of like a gaming area, but it's really just an oversized TV screen. So these are so comfortable. I feel like it's a great space for kids to have friends over and just hang out, or where adults can hang out. I know I would hang out here and watch movies. It's really casual, and I love how everything is still organic, so it speaks to all the decor we chose for downstairs. These stools are one of my favorites. Our woodworker made them. They're just really natural and add that nice element of life to a space. You do see stripes here. So while we don't use a lot of pattern, this did feel like the perfect place where we could put a stripe. The photography that we chose as artwork here is a beautiful picture of Malibu at dusk, and I love how it's black and white, it's coastal, but it's very modern and minimal. So even in the artwork, we kept it consistent with how we chose to design the rest of the space. This column here, this was structural, so we couldn't move it. And instead of wrapping it in white oak and padding it out so it's oversized like downstairs, we thought it was best to just paint it white, drywall it, and let it disappear. I love this room because it has so much natural light. It's a little bit separated, so it's a perfect place to unwind and have some quiet time. But there's one more detail that I do want to point out. and it's one of my favorites in this space. So if you take a peek at the base of this one modular piece, only this piece has vertical slatting just below in the oak wood. And I think it's so pretty, and it's very understated, but it speaks to the slatting that's in the coffee table as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed touring this home as much as I love designing it.